Hello, thanks for listening to Big J Sports Bros podcast. This episode was previously recorded under the old name. Due to the lack of editing and laziness, we did not want to go back and change anything, but it's still in the same spirit as our current name and brand. Hope you enjoy. Alright, we're back.
So,
Episode 2 of Coaching from the Couch.
Coaching from the Couch.
I'm Luke.
I'm Izzy.
And yeah, man, how was your week?
It was good. Just school, work, sleep, stuff like that. Just the same routine, basically.
I get you. How did your sports teams do this past week?
Luckily my Rams were on a bye, so I was able to catch up on some schoolwork, do some hobbies, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Pretty good. I'm kind of mainly focused on my Rams right now, so...
For sure.
Baseball just ended. Basketball I watch, but very loosely.
Right. I treat basketball and baseball the same. It's a long season. There might be a few matchups where I'm like, oh, I gotta watch that, or I want to see how this turns out. But for the most part, I'll tune in every once in a while.
For sure. Definitely. It's definitely same.
Yeah. My Longhorns won this past week against TCU. Probably a lot closer than it should have been, but they're still a competitive program. It's still Big 12. Like, these are kind of guys that you play like on a regular basis towards the end of the season. So, good win. Cowboys dominated earlier today. We did exactly what we should have done. That Giants team is really... It's a bad team. They're injured. I don't think Daboll's a good head coach either. I think we did our job. I'm pretty happy about how my team's played this past week.
Actually, I would like to add, I'm proud of how USC played this week, even though they lost. I think
we'll talk about that.
I think even in the loss, they showed things that, all right, there's a foundation.
We'll talk about that.
At least for the offense. Defensively, I don't know what to do defensively. Get better players, probably.
Yeah. We talked about that. Let's get into the first topic of today. Michigan football. They won this past weekend against Penn State. We both agree that this was their first big win in their whole cupcake schedule. Head coach Jim Harbaugh was not present because of current cheating allegations. It turns out that he will not be present for the remaining games of the regular season. So that will be pretty interesting going forward. I think social media had like a field day with like the interim head coach being like, "Oh, I love the show out of you, man." Crying. I'm not making fun of him for that. I just want to put that disclaimer out there. Obviously, this means a lot to him to win it for Harbaugh.
And good for him winning it. Yeah. It's mostly the program.
Yeah.
Me, personally. Sorry to cut you off.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Coach
it's touching their brothers.
Good for him.
Good win. I get it. I'll let you take the lead on this because you made a comparison against a team that you hate, the Houston Astros, and I'll let you just take it from there.
Yeah, I think just basically like their victimization and making themselves an underdog when you got caught doing something that you shouldn't have done, and then now you're making it everyone else's fault and not yours. And that's kind of just how it's been. Like, I think, Harbaugh's a good coach, but throughout his whole tenure there, it's just been a bunch of new things that pop up with him.
Right, the cheeseburger, the
cheeseburger.
Talking to college recruits early, now the stealing signs.
Wearing cleats in people's houses, stuff like that. Yeah. Like, he seems like a cool dude, probably a really good coach, but I don't know, just certain things to not like about them. And then I just don't like the overall victimization of themselves, trying to make themselves underdogs when they've only really been doubted, I would say, because they haven't won a championship. Like, what has this Harbaugh organization done besides...
For sure. That was my biggest thing against them. You guys couldn't be Ohio State.
Well, now they can.
Now they can.
Now they
can.
For
a while they couldn't. And they were kind of like, another program that somehow gets mixed up into rankings and headline news, like Notre Dame. Like, you really have no... I'm not talking about the last 2 years. I'm talking about in the past, when you first got to Michigan. You really have no business being talked about being ranked. You can't win the big games. You're lucky to even win a bowl game, if anything.
And they don't even win the bowl game.
Yeah, and they don't. So they're super lackluster. Hugh Harbaugh, in my opinion, was kind of trending on the overrated side for a little bit. Maybe that's my arrogance speaking, but that's just how I viewed him.
That's valid.
And, he made a comeback these past 2 to 3 years. They keep saying, this team could, win it all. JJ McCarthy's still overrated. Just want to add that in there. But yeah, this whole cheating scandal, and it's just like super like kind of like, oh, this coach, you see him over there like dressed up and like, oh, he used to work on this staff, and it's like convoluted now, and it's just super messy. It's not a good look at all. But
for the program and Jim Harbaugh, yeah, it's very sloppy.
Yeah.
Like, at least be discreet about it. Other teams are quote unquote doing this, and I don't even know about it, and I would rather not know about it or not be so obvious.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're stupid enough to get caught, you're stupid enough to get in trouble for it.
Right. It's kind of like the Patriots, basically.
Basically.
They were cheaters. Saints were cheaters with the whole bounty gate. You know, you get caught.
You gotta get in trouble, yeah. And then, I mean, you brought up Notre Dame. Like, I'd argue Notre Dame is a better program than Michigan. I don't know why Michigan gets a big push like that.
For sure.
I've seen Notre Dame in national championships. They win their bowl games. I don't even know if they play bowl games, but they win them. I don't know. I just don't get the Michigan hype like that.
My only pushback, and this is not my take, this is a classmate's take, was that, you know, if there was like a cheating scandal in the SEC, everybody would be like, well, that's the most competitive, you know, conference like in all of college football. Like, you're going to have to cheat or like something like that. Like, it wouldn't be like so much of a big deal because it, at least, you know, maybe because of NIL and what have you, like, it's not the prestige like conference anymore. But that was just an example he used.
I think my pushback on that would be like the SEC isn't even the best conference in college football anymore. SEC has the best players. You could make that argument, but the best overall conference, it's really not. Yeah. Same people are always vying for national championship status.
I think we're just like talking about just like the position you
but that too, yes.
Not actually like being the best conference, but it's held as being the best, regardless if it really is or not. But and then another thing was, you know, this is also a bad look for the Big Ten. The Big Ten is expanding going into next season, so now you have all these teams joining it, USC, UCLA. You know, it's a bad look for them. Like, they kind of look bad going after one of like their prominent teams, prominent coaches. If you get caught, like you said, you got caught, so you got to like do the time now.
Yeah.
Any chance you think? Any predictions for Ohio State game?
I'm usually Ohio State homer when it comes to that. I think they just have better players. I like their uniforms. They've had some good players in the past that have came out, so it's kind of just like I like them better. And then I'd say just because of this season, I think Ohio State is more battle-tested. They've played that Penn State game. I think Notre Dame is a tough team to play. They definitely had to play a tough game to win that game, and they won it on the road. So I think I like Ohio State this year.
Yeah, I think they seem to be a little bit more battle-tested. I don't know who could cover
Marvin
Harrison. MHJ's balling out of his mind. But it should be a good matchup. You know, kudos to the assistant coach that stepped up.
Yeah, good win.
Corum's still that dude. Like, I'm not taking anything away from like some of the players that.
Oh yeah, they're good players. I just don't like the organization.
For sure, and just I don't know, kind of like Alabama cupcake schedule.
Yeah.
For being honest, but you know, what can you do?
I think that's why I'm maybe to go off a little off track, but I think that's why some people hold like the Joe Burrow LSU team to a high standard.
They played a lot.
A lot of good ring. That's the only
Texas was good that year. I know they fell off at the end of the season, but that was a really good team.
That's the only team I could think of that played a really, really tough schedule and won all their games. Yeah. No, I wouldn't even say some of those, any of those Clemson teams.
Those were good teams.
They're good teams, but just to hold that, like, I think schedule and then winning those games, that's what makes you national championship. Maybe a true champion in a lot of people's eyes.
Yeah. They're still one of the best college teams I've seen. So.
Yeah. Easily.
All right. Next topic, we got Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffs. They're not making news for the greatest of reasons. They're still losing. They lost to a pretty good U of A team this past weekend. You know, Deion Sanders.
They keep turning heads, U of A.
Yeah. Deion Sanders, like, went to the press conference, was like, hey, sorry to the fans. Kind of, you know, that typical speech that you normally give when the team isn't performing as well. And then it doesn't help that during the week there was a story about Deion saying, yeah, I'll let my players fight. I keep track of, like, who wins, too. I personally don't think there's, like, a problem with fighting. I kind of think about that scene. Like, it sounds corny, but I think about that scene in, Remember the Titans? You know, he's like, hey, let him. Like, let the brothers, like, you know, because, like, how you fight with siblings, like, you gotta bang it out, and you kind of just settle your beef. Like, okay, like, I've just, like, come to, like, some sort of respect for you, a better understanding. So I'm not really coming under fire for him about that, but definitely just not the sort of news that you want out and about, especially when you're not winning.
I kind of agree with you. I think, like, boys will be boys. I think if you're able to argue and fight someone and still be able to, like, work with them as a team, then, you know what I mean, that kind of shows some understanding. And I think that's just how guys are. It's a dominance thing. We're trying to assert our dominance against each other, especially in a sport like football where it is a dominant sport. It is about being physically strong, mentally strong, so you have to fight.
Right.
And then you think about it, sometimes people you fight with are pardon my French, but it's your closest people.
Yeah, it's your blood, it's your best friends.
Yeah. I'm personally okay with it. I don't think it's a big deal. I think if you have a strong team and a strong coach and a strong leader like that, you can kind of overcome maybe those differences.
Yeah.
But then that's if those differences are obviously worked out within the team structure.
Yeah. And then some would argue that clearly, like, this isn't the right way to manage your team, you know, regarding how your record and your losses.
I don't think so. It's not that big a deal. I do think it's kind of funny that he keeps track of who wins and loses, because to me...
I don't even think it's whenever you squabble, at least, like, I'm recalling from, like, practice scraps, like, it wasn't about, like, a winning or losing.
That's what I mean.
It was just a dispute. It was just like, hey, what are you doing? Do your job. Get out of my face.
So maybe
don't tell me what to do.
Maybe to pick on him for that, I don't like that he keeps track of who wins or loses, because no one really wins or loses.
Yeah.
Like, ideally, we don't want to fight, but it just happens because guys are being guys.
And most of the time it gets broken up.
Yeah, and most of the time there really is no winner. So I don't disagree with him, but I maybe wouldn't have said that I keep track. Because what, the winner, does he get a pizza party? I'm really big on pizza parties. Does he get, I don't know.
Free Gatorade for
Free Gatorade. Does he get a 6-pack after practice? Like, if you're going to be keeping track of the winners, I think you should be obviously giving the winners a prize or something.
Right. I don't know if it was about the last 3 games of the season or it may have just been ended, but I think they need to win out in order to be bowl eligible. But the next 2 games that they have is against Washington State, and then they end the season against Utah, top 15 team. They're ranked 16 currently. So yeah, do you think they can win out?
They only need 6 to be bowl eligible. I think they'll get that. I mean, on the Colorado football take, I think obviously you have to put...
They're 4-6.
Oh, they need 2 wins. 4-5 or 4-6. I think that obviously they were the worst college football team, and they've been probably one of the worst programs, Power 5 in a minute. So obviously, even getting 4 wins is a good step up. But obviously, this team is going to need to overgo some recruiting, get some new players, better O-line. I see Shador running for his life.
Yeah, some stuff I think we've talked about last episode.
If that's how the O-line's going to look next year, he should just go pro this season and ride the what?
Ride the pine?
Ride it, yeah. So he gets a top pick. Or, I mean, in this draft, I think he'd at least be like a early 2nd-round pick. Easy. So, yeah, I think just got to recruit better. They'll get there. He's a good leader. He's a good coach. People want to play for guys like that.
Yeah. They'll be good in the Big 12.
Yeah. Easy.
Next topic, we have the Clippers. 0-5 start with shooting guard James Harden. You know, this was a speculated move like in the summer, and now it finally happened. I think people thought it would work out. Him and Russ have chemistry. The Clippers did need like some sort of perimeter help, and now they got it. They didn't really give up much either. I think haters might try to say that they gave up too much, but I would lose Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nick Batum, KJ.
And in favor of PJ Tucker,
Harden, easy.
Maybe you lose some size, but you're definitely getting some perimeter. PJ Tucker is easily playoff Tucker. He plays really good defense.
Defense, boards.
It's all they need. Obviously, we were saying off the air they should get Dwight Howard. I'd like the Lakers to get Dwight Howard.
Right, just a true big.
Athletic big that just gets rebounds, plays defense, rim defender, easy.
Right, but I don't know. Yeah, do you see a problem with them starting 0-5? I said that they should move him to 6-man. I don't think, not that he doesn't have the capabilities to be a starter, but I think his time with Philadelphia kind of showed that he's definitely not the same player anymore. He can't carry that big of a workload offensively. We both agreed that he just needs to catch the rock and shoot it, just help perimeter-wise. But I think he would be pretty helpful as a 6-man, kind of just like help that bench score a little bit more, bring some energy, bring some life. Hopefully that's not too big of an ask for him, but I think that's probably the best way to help him, because like our Clipper fan said that they're kind of running small ball and that's not really helping. But yeah, what are your thoughts about the 0-5 start?
I think I guess to kind of use a comparison, I think that ideally they want all 5 of those guys on the court at the same time. At least for sure, I want all 4 of those guys on the court together. But I do think James Harden probably would benefit from like maybe a D'Angelo Russell role from like the last season playoffs, all that. Just come off the bench, give me like a good 15, and then we'll get you a break. Kind of like Nick Young, you know what I mean? We need a hot streak amount of points. I think they'll get it right just because there's a little bit more organizational structure to the Clippers, I feel like, opposed to other teams. Maybe there's not like, this player's in charge of the team. It's like, nah, that's Ty Lue's team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's in charge. There's not going to be any scrutiny and controversy where players are calling the shots.
Right. No,
I hate to say it, but no, LeBron is no GM, no
Daryl Morey kind of talking publicly about you.
Stuff like that. There's a little bit more structure. They got Kawhi, Paul George. Those are good players. I love Russell Westbrook. I think him on the Clippers is actually a really good fit.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get solid minutes from him, effort, rebounds.
Playoff Westbrook last season.
Yeah, he was
amazing.
Good. He was good. They almost beat the Suns. I like it. I think just like the Phillies in baseball, they kind of got this super team together, and then it took a little bit of time, and then once they got past the All-Star break, it was like, ooh, be careful for this team.
I could see the same for them. I don't necessarily hate the Clippers. There's a lot of players on that team that I like.
Yeah, I love Russ Westbrook.
So
I like Clawman.
Big Kawhi fan.
Love Clawman.
Oh well, but yeah, hopefully they figure it out. I think they're going to be a fun team to watch. They'll definitely beat the Lakers the next time around.
But the Lakers finally beat them, so I'm happy for that one.
Yeah, good for them.
They're a good team.
Whatever. All right, last main topic for the episode. We have Alex Pereira fighting Jiri. Do you have any idea how to pronounce his last name? Prochaska?
Proyaska?
I'll call him just Jiri.
Well, it's actually Yuri.
Yuri. I'm butchering it. You know what? Doesn't matter. Alex Pereira, came in there, moved up to light heavyweight, dominated. There was a big controversy that it might have been an early stoppage. I'll get into more detail about this later, but, caught him really good, caught Yuri really good. He kind of went out for a little bit, was kind of giving him a nice little ground and pound. Called it a TKO. I think it was a definitive win. I don't think it was an early stoppage. But after the fight, Pereira calls out Izzy and tells him to move up for the rematch. I know you kind of like Izzy a little bit more than me. I'm not gonna say Izzy hater, but I do think he's kind of corny. What do you think about this? Think a rematch could happen? Was this a good win for Pereira?
I think it's a good win, obviously, because he won the championship. I think after Adesanyo's last loss, he said he didn't want to fight anymore. But honestly,
he wanted to take a break.
I think it's actually very, very funny that he's
it's constantly.
It's like the Chicken Man and Peter Griffin, it's just on site.
Yeah.
They could be at the grocery store, and I feel like they're just gonna start just duking it out, or they could accidentally bump into each other in this undisclosed location and just start freaking duking it out.
Right.
I like Adesanya, so I'd probably say he win, but that dude is just a...
He's the Terminator.
Stone face, yeah.
Right.
Call him the Stone Man or something like that.
Yeah. I don't think he'll move up. And then he was, talking trash, bro, it's I live rent-free. And then, he posts, the picture of, Pierre, knocked out. I'm like, bro, he terrorized you for most of your career. Bullied you back in the kickboxing ring. Then he beat the guys that beat you. Then he beat you.
Yeah.
And he could beat you again.
It's just Thanos.
Yeah. That's also me not liking Izzy.
Yeah, it's valid. He's beating him.
Yeah, but I don't think he'll make that weight because
and then
Izzy's like, oh, like the rest of the division for sure thank me. I got him out of the division. I'm like, shut up. Nobody wants to make that weight. He's fighting at the perfect weight for him. Pereira's fighting at the perfect weight.
Easy.
I would even say Izzy's fighting at the perfect weight for himself. I don't think Izzy will move up. Don't know what's gonna take for him to come out of his little break, but.
I mean, he's fought a lot. I feel like at least every other 2 months, I see that he's fighting someone. At least before this most recent loss to Strickland.
Yeah.
I feel like he's been fighting a lot. Like him and Kamaru Usman, they've been fighting a lot.
For sure. I would say so. So, you know what? I guess he deserves a break. Let Pierre kind of like have his little UFC
His little reign right now.
Yeah. People want to see I want to see the third fight, so make it a trilogy. Alright, we're back from the break. We're introducing new segments. This will be the regular setup for the remaining
episodes.
Yeah. So here we go. First new segment. We got Coach of the Week. Would you like to go first?
So my Coach of the Week, I'm kind of on the same drum I was on last week. I'm gonna go with the Raiders coach as we record this, getting his second win as an NFL coach. To me, it's just a good story because it's relatively the same team since changing from McDaniels, and he's just getting a lot out of this team because it is the same team. And I don't think the Jets are good, but they have a really good defense.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Raiders' offense has good players, but they're obviously relying on a 6th-round rookie. So you know what I mean. So for the coach, because I'm real big on leadership, taking classes on leadership, I just think he's getting a lot out of a group that someone else we recently seen couldn't do. So obviously there's a change in the dynamics of leadership and how it's affecting the team.
I 100% agree with you. Taking coaching classes, and I know what he's done is like huge to do it in a short amount of time. As far as establishing some sort of culture and relationship.
Emotional connection. The players feel like this is actually their team and it's not just their job.
And something that we touched on like last episode, not to sound like a broken drum, but like we need to go back to being the Raiders. We're gonna play tough. Like nobody likes us. Everybody thinks we're just a bad organization that we're poorly ran. Let's stick it to them. But yeah, shout out Pierce is another great one. My Coach of the Week is James Madison football coach Curt Cignetti. He was on the Alabama 2009 national championship team. He was a wide receiver coach and he was also a recruiter. It sucks that this program is having like one of its best seasons of its existence basically. It sucks that they're not going to be bowl eligible because of them, switching conferences. But you know what, Cignetti, you're doing what most people didn't think that you would do. You beat an ACC team, which is a very big accomplishment.
Biggest win against Virginia.
For Sunbelt, you're bringing more attention to like these smaller schools. I think Coastal Carolina was making noise, that black and teal team.
Yeah,
they're making a lot of noise.
They're in FBS now?
Yeah. Tulane came in huge. It was ranked a little bit. I'm all for smaller schools getting recognition, and it helps them attract more, create more revenue for themselves as well. Big fan of that. So Cignetti, congrats, 10-0. Sucks you can't make a bowl game. They could granted that they haven't played crazy talent, but there's like a good chance that if they were like bowl eligible, I could see them upsetting.
Yeah, I don't know,
a bigger team.
Oregon State, something like that.
Not
even
like a lower tier, Big 12, Pac-12, something like
Maryland.
that. Right.
I think Maryland. Sorry, Oregon State. I'm gonna say Maryland.
Yeah.
School like that.
Yeah, but hey, Curt Cignetti, you're my Coach of the Week. Good job.
I think just my opinion on that. I agree. I think it's good. I recently did a presentation about this, but I think obviously there's levels to the play of the certain athletes of the divisions, FBS, FCS, but I think it's just it's very dumb that they're not able to play in the bowl if they are bowl eligible, because then it's kind of the point of their whole season is to play in a bigger stakes game. So I think good on the coach to get the kids to keep on playing at a good level, despite they know they're not going to play in a bowl. So
right.
Obviously that takes a good leader to be able to do that and get that productivity out of its players.
Right.
Good job on you.
You want to move us on to our next segment?
Yes. For our next segment, we will be doing the Stooge of the Week. Me, if you're listening, I'm just beating my same drum. The Michigan football program, I talked about it earlier. I don't like the victimization of the program. All the players saying, bet.
Michigan against the world.
Michigan against the world. Like, you're not Ohio, bro.
Bet.
Like, you know what I mean? You're literally projected to win it all. Like, I think Alabama did this a few years ago, too, where they lost a game and everyone was like, all right, you guys aren't going to the playoffs. Like, you know what I mean? They just...
So, like, last year when TCU made it? Okay.
Basically, like, we should be in.
Yeah.
Like...
We all play.
Win your games.
Yeah.
You guys know that. You guys win your games all the time. Win your games. Just, honestly, the unethicalness of cheating, stuff like that, then victimizing yourself, making it other people's fault. Like, to me, it's just to throw the whole program away.
I can't really provide any pushback. I'm kind of on the same boat as you. Do better. Be better. My Stooge of the Week might be a little bit controversial, but my Stooge of the Week is Lincoln Riley, head coach of USC football. I think he's the epitome of being a college coach, flashy offense, doesn't really win you the games in the end of the day. Yeah, you might be a trailblazer, or like some sort of offensive whiz, and this could be the next big thing in football, kind of thing, but I don't really see him as that. Yes, he is a former Sooner. Yes, I'm a Texas fan, and I do not like Oklahoma. And yes, I do not like USC whatsoever. But having all these Sooners over there just makes me hate them a little bit more. Besides all that, I think he's gone to show that he can't really win the big games. Utah, for example, twice last season. Lost to them again this season. That Tulane bowl game loss was really huge. Small program, and you still lost. Not saying that, that's not bashing Tulane whatsoever. But let's not act like USC got a lot of really good players from Oklahoma and got other good players from the transfer portal that year. And a lot of that team got to play together too. So it's not like Deion Sanders coming into like Colorado and still having a little bit more than half the team being last year's team. Like that wasn't really the case for Oklahoma. Lincoln got to coach a lot of his boys, got to bring his staff. You know what I'm saying?
When he was first brought in to replace Stoops, right?
Mm-hmm. He had a lot of his boys.
Yeah.
More so than Deion.
Yeah, he was on the staff. He was the OC and all that.
Right.
He just got elevated.
He had a lot of things going his way, and you're still losing. I think, like I said, the epitome of being a college coach. You could do all the flashy offense you want, but at the end of the day, you can't win it all. I don't think this is a good look for them going into the Big Ten. You got to win these games, especially, like, this is your last season in the Pac-12. Like, that has to mean something. Don't you want to come out on top as the last Pac-12 champion? There's just so much that was on stake this season, and I think the media, your guys are sheep for just thinking that they were going to be good this season. That's all I have to say. It sounds pretty harsh, but I'm just not... I don't think this guy has it cut. He doesn't have that dog in him to really just make it to the next level. I don't like his face either.
I think just maybe to push back on you, I get that maybe he was... spoon-fed being from the Oklahoma system. Oklahoma at the time being like I think they still are, but then, you know what I mean? They were a blue blood. They had Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray.
Kyler, Jalen Hurts, CeeDee Lamb, Hollywood Brown.
Even before
you had
that,
a good group of running
just
backs
a bunch of good OU players, good defenses. I feel like before OU's had really good defenses because you see a lot of big names in the NFL defensive players. I overall just think maybe he just focuses too much on the offense, and then he just employs that Alex Grinch no matter what.
Oh, that's another one. Alex Grinch, you're a scapegoat. He's gone.
Yeah.
You gotta win. He's gone.
Yeah.
No more excuses.
So then I think just my pushback would be that on defense, they just need better players.
Whatever.
Better players. Maybe a change in the ideology of Lincoln Riley. I mean, he's still fairly a younger coach, you know what I mean? I said earlier in the episode that I did like the fight I saw from the USC team. I do think they have that Zachariah Branch. Like, I'm watching the games, I think he's been hurt a lot, but
yeah,
that dude just needs to be the offense. whether it's like a scat back, wide receiver, slot, just get him involved. That's your dude. True freshman, so they got 2 good years of him, hopefully. Just stuff like that. I do think, kind of agreed that they have been lackluster. I said off the air that I do think being so good last year, especially in a market like LA, obviously raised the standard. And it really did, because even coming in, I was like, oh, I don't know. They might be good this year. Yeah. Definitely, they did not do enough to be able to play with the likes of Ohio State, Michigan, Georgia. They can't even honestly play like with Utah. So, you know what I mean?
Right.
I think maybe just a change in ideology, but I get why you could say that.
Yeah. Next, we got the player of the week. Normally, me and Isaac would like to have different players, and this is probably like the least debated one because this is a subjective. Like, hey, this is a player that stood out for me, and this is a player that stood out for you. But this week we have a shared player of the week, and he is none other than Houston Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud.
You can go ahead since you're anti-Ohio State quarterback.
All right, yeah.
Discuss your change of heart.
Well, I'll give you credit. You've been really big on him since his college days. Hey, he's big and athletic. He's a gunslinger. He's accurate. Stuff that you could say other stuff about other former Ohio State quarterbacks. Justin Fields, Cardale Jones, J.T. Barrett. All these guys that kind of just got love. The late Haskins.
Anyways,
the late Dwayne Haskins, those guys were all like, media was like, oh, these guys, they came in and win it. Or, I know they didn't win it all, but they were a part of really good OSU teams that got to a high level, even though it wasn't a national championship. And, maybe that could be used against them. I don't think you need to win a national championship to be a good college quarterback. That might be a hot take, but I genuinely don't think you need to win a national championship. Bowl game for sure, maybe win your conference, but national championship, not one of the boxes that I need to get checked off. But, they all made it to the league, did not perform. You could argue that they went to bad teams. You could argue that they weren't fully developed. I just don't think they were just good QBs to begin with. I think a lot of their supporting group was the reason why they became elevated. We kind of see that with Justin Fields. I think people wanted to gas him up so much. I'm not a Fields hater. I just want to clarify that. I'm a hater of the machine he comes from, not necessarily the player. But he's definitely, I don't think, lived up to what people thought of him. Yeah, gosh, I couldn't stand it. They were like, oh, watch out for the Bears, DJ Moore, Justin Fields, got him with these weapons, just for them to just stink it up. But that's besides the point. C.J. Stroud, he's literally come into this league. He's throwing for 2,626 yards, 15 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, QBR of 63.3. That's the 10th best in the league. He's putting up top 10 numbers right now. I think he's made himself into the MVP situation. He's won like 5 games in a row now.
I haven't seen anything good from Mahomes. Maybe you could say him and Lamar Jackson, but I haven't seen anything for them to kind of just give it to the people they always give it to.
For sure. Like, normally, like, Aaron Rodgers would normally be in this race.
Mahomes, Tom Brady.
They like to throw Josh Allen in the race early.
Josh Allen never won an MVP.
Forget that guy. Yeah. But C.J. Stroud, you proved me wrong. I want to give Isaac credit for just saying this, that he's been a dude. I'll let you take it the way, but I just want to say I've been impressed. He's really come out the gate hot, slinging it, throwing touchdowns, really carrying this team. Has a great swagger, leads. Team seems to like him.
Good leadership.
For having, like, not the greatest offensive line, and, like, even having to play and win games when that line wasn't fully healthy and he didn't have his, like, starters, he still won games and he was still slinging it. You don't really have a great run game, which a lot of rookie quarterbacks need, a really good running game. He doesn't necessarily have one, and he's still out here winning games. So, you know what? You're my guy. So, good job, CJ Stroud.
I just think to, like, touch on that, you see the leadership. There's, like, a lot of articles, stuff from reporters that...
Let him have it.
That he's just a...
Let him have it.
What is it? He said, I'm not a test taker, I'm a football player.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? He's a football player. He's a dog.
Oh, he's stupid. He did bad on this test.
Yeah. Oh, Bryce Young did good on the test. How's Bryce Young playing? Come on. And then there's the rhetoric that Bryce Young doesn't have enough help. Team's not good. Coach sucks. Like, CJ Stroud's with the first-year coach, mid-franchise, and elevating it through good leadership, He plays good. He gets rid of the ball quick. Obviously, there's rookie mistakes. We were watching the game earlier. He threw a pick. Like, that stuff's going to happen, but he bounces back. He plays hard. And, yeah, I just like him. He's good. I like his little dance move. Squabble, LA guy. Or Rancho Cucamonga, LA dude. So, yeah, just good player, good kid. We are certified.
Stroud boys.
We are certified Stroud boys. I was trying to get him to trade me CJ Stroud so I can name my team.
I named it my team.
The Stroud boys.
The Stroud boys. It's the American flag helmet.
So yeah, here on the Coaching from the Couch, we are proud certified Stroud boys.
We'll rename the podcast right now.
Maybe.
Okay, man. That was fun.
And that's him as a Cowboys fan saying that too. So
I'm a big fan of him. I'm a big fan of Josh Dobbs. He's my runner-up, my honorable mention. Josh Dobbs, your dog. All right. Anyways, let's wrap this up. Rage of the week.
My rage of the week, not necessarily sports related, more like I guess school life related, but I just very much dislike when you have a teacher that kind of just, and I'm not really like this because most teachers for the most part pretty much kind of put the grades in pretty soon, pretty, on a timely routine. But I just don't like those certain teachers that you, they're just not going to put your stuff in. And, it's not that I just want to know how I'm doing. Usually a lot of teachers are pretty reassuring of that, but then there's just those certain apples that they just lag it. I get it, you're busy, but other teachers do it, so I think you should do it. Makes me a little mad.
I don't check grades often, so maybe that's bad on my part. Maybe I should be on top of that more.
I try to check them at least every now and then just to see, oh, how did I do on this? How did I do on that? Did it help me? Did it not? All right, I got to do better this next time around.
I should probably fix that. My rage of the week is LeBron James.
LeBron James.
We've been throwing this word out a lot this podcast, but stop with the victimization already. I'm sick and tired of this. It doesn't help that social media contributes to this. Oh, I make the right plays. My team, I trust in them, and you know what? I'm LeBron James. I make the best plays. Shut up, God, dude. He always toots his own horn. Not that I get it if you're a top athlete and you're the leader of your team, you're the franchise, you're a baller. I get it. You have to have some sort of ego. But the way this guy does it is just I can't put into words how unfathomable it is. He's always tooting his own horn. It bugs me so much. You have no idea. And it doesn't help that the media gasses him up too. I know why they do it. It gets clicks, it gets comments, it gets likes, it gets reposts. I love LeBron. People love to hate him and people love him.
You love to hate him.
I love to hate him.
I talk about my king like that.
It was our coworker's a big LeBron James fan, and me and him got into it about it. It's just this guy needs to get over himself. And he was like, people are going to criticize him if he passed it. People are going to criticize him if he took the shot. You can never win. I'm like, yeah, you can. Just shut up.
I will say, I agree with that, but the Cam Reddish thing, that dude's got to make that shot. That's wide open. You're an NBA player.
For sure.
I can make that shot. I need you to make that shot.
Because if I'm being honest with you...
It was a good play. I if I were him, I wouldn't have even said anything.
Yeah.
I think to nitpick, maybe to agree with you, I think it shows kind of some thick skin to reply to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm LeBron James. I don't reply to anybody.
Thin skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said thick.
Oh, no, I said thin. Anyways, thin skin to reply to that. I'd just be like, I'm LeBron James. I don't reply to fucking Twitter reporters,
right?
Podcast people.
Like us.
Yeah, I don't reply to that shit.
Yeah, shut up, Luke.
I'm LeBron.
No, but
I'm James.
I need to fix what I'm saying. Because,
no, I get what you're saying.
I am a LeBron hater, but, let me make it very clear that I'm not going to hate him for making that pass.
Yeah.
Because it is the right pass. Yeah, that's the right play to make.
That needs to make that shot.
I'm hating on Cam Reddish because I'm going to hate on the Lakers and be like, oh, I really thought you did something signing him, huh? Look at him. He's selling. That's the type of hater I am. So, you know what, LeBron? Maybe I'm just pissed at social media. Maybe I'm mad at the media. Maybe I'm hating at the machine.
I prefer you hate LeBron.
It all goes in hand.
Because it'll make him play better.
Yeah, maybe. LeBron hears me. You want to wrap us up last segment?
For the last segment, we have the unsung hero of the week. For me, he's pretty unpopular, but I'm a fan. I'm able to separate the art and the artist. But for me, mine is Deshaun Watson. I think he was kind of thrown under the bus by his head coach, honestly, saying that he was clear to play, but he didn't want to play. You know, he comes back from injury and leads his team to a win against a very good Ravens.
Prominent, very good team.
Yeah,
very good
a prominent,
team.
good team. Like, people should not take this win lightly. He started off a little shaky, but then he found it, he heated up, and got his team to the win. So I think him being able to overcome, obviously, his own self-imposed controversy and injuries, struggles, I think it shows a lot to just be able to do that and be victorious when you got your media, your team, your coaches turning on you. Obviously, he did some bad things, and I think that he should be held accountable, but I respect him for just keeping on and keep on going.
Yep. My unsung hero of the week, I got 2.
That's good.
I added 2. So Alex Pereira, he fought Yuri. I'm not gonna try to pronounce his last name.
He fought some
Scandinavian guy.
I don't even know what he is, but yeah.
He's a warrior. It doesn't matter. He looks like a Viking. He's a beast. Anyways, Yuri, as stated before, it was a controversial, was that early stoppage? Joe Rogan even asked him, hey, man, me, DC, we thought it was, early stoppage. What are your thoughts about it? And especially, in the combat sports world where there's a lot of ego, it's a lot of, being dominant and, mano a mano. And he was that was the right call. I wasn't there. That takes a lot of guts, humility, humbleness, class, just an absolute warrior to just admit to self-awareness to be you know what, right call, I wasn't there. And if you look at it, you could make the argument that maybe he regained consciousness or he was there. But if you look at it again and you're you know what, he looked like he wasn't there at all.
Good call.
I think it was the right call. Granted, I am a Pereira fan, but you know what? Yuri, world-class act. Respect you for that. Not a lot of people would do that. And, kudos to you. I hope you're victorious in your next venture. My second unsung hero of the week was going to be you.
Me?
Yeah.
How did I do?
I don't know. Just as a friend, I don't think we, there's definitely I don't know how am I trying to say this.
Yeah, now you're making me look bad. I didn't say
No. Yeah. Just active, always texting me. I could be definitely the type of person that doesn't reach out or text often.
Oh.
You're always on top of it. And let's get together and plan the pod. Something I definitely didn't even consider. Not that I'm not taking this seriously, but to show you take some proactive action is cool. And then sending me funny stuff on Instagram. But yeah, man. And then just talking about sports throughout the day or whatever. And unsung hero of the week. Definitely helps my week go by a little bit faster.
Yeah, I appreciate you too.
Then we get to work together, which is always cool. I guess you maybe an extra once or twice a week because of work. So, any sports predictions you want to end the pod with?
We're going to beat the Seahawks. With Carson Wentz. He's going to take us to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then we're going to play Jared Goff in the NFC Championship.
I don't want to speak on my Cowboys because I really don't know how they're going to do. But
who did they play?
That doesn't matter. We're going to win. You see? Don't ask me. That's what I'm going to say. Don't make me be one of those Cowboy fans. Don't do it. But I will say...
As a Cowboy fan, you don't know who you're playing the next week?
It doesn't... No, I know who we're playing.
Don't matter.
Don't matter. Texas Longhorns, you're going to win out the rest of the season, and we're going to beat Oklahoma in the Big 12 Championship. Book it.
USC is going to beat UCLA.
That'll be a good game. I'm interested. People are already calling for Chip Kelly's head. I'm chill out.
Nah, let him get the time there.
He's
a college coach.
Gosh.
He's a college coach.
Topic for another time, but that's all I got to say.
What's another prediction I got? The Lakers won tonight. How do you feel about that?
Don't
the
matter.
Daddy.
Don't matter. All that matters is Luka, the Don, dropping 44 on the Clippers the other day.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
He needs to go for a jog.
Yeah, he does. A little chubby. It's okay. Help the boy out. We need more help on that team. Can't be doing it all.
Oh, Puka's going to go for 150 next week. I'm calling it.
Last thing, Jamar Chase, don't ever scare me like that again. I need you to ball out on the regular. Fantasy purposes.
I'd say fantasy purposes, guys. If you do play fantasy football, make sure you're checking your wires. And, just be on it.
Yeah. All right, stay hard.
Have a good night.